Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. From today we are starting a new initiative in the channel. This will be the deep dive initiative where we'll talk about certain important fast growing small caps and micro cap stocks that have a chance to become multi-baggers. Firstly, I'll introduce my wife to you, Swipta. She'll be a part of this series with me where we'll do business analysis on a number of very interesting stocks. These stocks have great growth potential. They are entering a phase of hockey curve revenue growth and margin expansion, which makes them great companies to be a part of your portfolio and companies which you should track. The first episode जो आज का होने वाला है right now will cover a company which is related to the green energy space, right, Swipta? Yeah. So this company's name is Pave Digitech, and it is playing a very important part in storing of excess green energy for to stabilize our grids, right? तो ये क्या करता है ये कंपनी बेसिकली BESS मैन्युफैक्चर करता है एंड BESS इज नथिंग बट बैटरी एनर्जी स्टोरेज सिस्टम्स. इसके बारे में विल गो इनटू डीप डिस्कशन विद इन द स्कोप ऑफ द वीडियो. एंड सबसे पहले सुदीप्ता, हाउ डू यू फील एज अ पार्ट ऑफ द जॉइनिंग द चैनल एंड स्पीकिंग ऑन द स्टॉक्स?
Yeah, it feels to be great. This is a very interesting field to be in, and definitely knowing about so many businesses out there and how they are performing and how well they are performing, or how they are growing in the next 3 to 5 years, understanding them, understanding their financials and their business model, operating model. It's definitely very interesting, and sharing that knowledge with everyone, with the viewers, is definitely a plus along with that.
Yeah. So, Sudipta, so now that we are starting off, talking about PACE, what does PACE do? We know that it manufactures BESS, right? Can you tell me what BESS is? Why is it needed? A little bit on what the scope of this particular technology is. Yeah.
Sure. So, BESS, or battery energy storage system, is basically required for storing renewable energy sources like solar and wind energy, right? So, as we know that these energy sources are highly unpredictable.
Right.
Because right now we are having solar, maybe in the evenings we'll not have the solar energy,
Right.
or wind energy also fluctuates around the day or around the over the months or years, right? So in order to store that energy, we need BESS. What it does, it stores that energy and it provides grid stability. Basically, whenever that energy source is required, it can be sent over to the grids again, and that can be used at any time.
Okay.
And so BESS is a growing field in India and around the world, right? So can you highlight that how this BESS is growing across India?
Yeah. It's very interesting question, and I'd like to show off a little bit of data to you guys. So I'll quickly share my screen, and we will move to Gemini. So I had asked Gemini to give me an understanding, of how fast the BESS industry is growing, and you can see it is entering a phase of a hockey stick curve growth, right? The projected CAGR, or compounded annual growth rate, for BESS over the next 5 years is around 24 to 29% on an average. So, and the Indian, first of all, you guys need to know that the Indian government has a mandate to reach around 500 gigawatt of non-fossil fuel powered energy, okay? Because we are moving to a more greener source of energy, right? We have otherwise, because as you've seen in the current war situation also, India imports close to 85% of its crude oil from overseas. So that leaves us with a high energy bill, and whenever crude oil price rises, our energy bill rises, and that impacts our GDP and consumption, right? Prices of inflation goes up. So India kind of wants to manage, or at least a part of their energy requirement, through green energy, and that target for 2030 is 500 gigawatts. Now where does BESS come in over here? You can see BESS is growing at a CAGR of 24 to 29%, and by 2030 the market value of this technology is supposed to reach around 12 to 20 billion. That is almost 8x. I mean 8x the growth from this current period. And the storage capacity of BESS right now in the country, you can see that it is around only 3 to 5 gigawatts. That is very low, and we can see that by 2030 this projected storage capacity will rise to almost 250 gigawatt, right? Which means itself that is almost a 50% growth in storage capacity over the next 5 years, which is astounding to even think about. And the key driver is obviously that you are getting a lot of PLI support from the government. You have a renewable energy target which you need to have. और एक चीज जो मैंने देखा था, which I feel I should share with you guys, is that the Ministry of Power ने बोला है कि we need to increase storage of energy to at least 4% of the country's electricity consumption by 2030. ठीक है, and for that the government is doing a lot of funding. PLI for advanced chemistry cells, ACCs, almost 18,000 crore का PLI, Sudipta, has been fostering demand for gigafactories. ओला इलेक्ट्रिक, काफ़ी सारे कंपनीज है पर्टिकुलर टेक में काम भी कर रहे थे. एंड आई ऑल्सो वॉन्टेड टू शो वन मोर थिंग इज दैट लॉट ऑफ द टेंडर्स जो भी मार्केट में आ रहा है ना, वट एवर द गवर्नमेंट इज फ्लोटिंग फॉर सोलर पावर जनरेशन और ईपीसी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स, उसमें सिर्फ सोलर पावर जनरेशन या फिर विंड पावर या फिर रिन्यूएबल जनरेशन तक नहीं रुक रहा है. वी आर गोइंग इन टू अ फेज वेयर ईच प्रोजेक्ट हैज अ बेस्ट एस्पेक्ट टू इट. मतलब देर हैव टू बी स्टोरेज ऑफ एनर्जी also accompanied with power generation. तो इसका मतलब this is directly giving us more tailwind that ki BESS will be a very interesting, technology going forward. So yeah, that's very 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 interesting. And since now we have a good understanding, right, of what BESS is, it stores the excess energy so that you can use it when the normal forms of energy are not available. So it provides support to our grid, right, stabilizes our grid. Now I would like to know a little bit about PAVE Digitech, right? I know you've been reading a little about the company, and the company is very interesting. So what is the business model of PAVE Digitech? What are the various business verticals or segments they have? Can you speak a little bit on that?
Yeah, sure, Rohit. So, PACE Digitech operates in telecom and ICT sector,
Right.
as well as it operates in the energy sector, right? So, as we can see from here, with respect to the telecom and ICT sector, they are into these projects and services. So, with respect to products, they design and manufacture power systems, lithium-ion batteries, and power electronics, solar solutions, remote management systems. And with respect to projects, they do end-to-end infra setup of telecom towers, power infrastructures, and even they deploy optical fiber cables as well, right?
Okay.
And with respect to services, they have warranty and annual management contracts services as well, O&M contracts as well.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the energy sector, it's very interesting again, right? That with respect to products, we talked about BESS. So
Yeah.
they manufacture BESS. They even have energy management systems and power conversion systems that they provide. And they do end-to-end EPC execution of BESS projects, solar projects, BESS plus solar projects. And with respect to services again, right? The warranty, AMC and O&M services, they provide that.
Right.
Yeah, so this is the business model of PACE Digitech.
Okay. So they are, like, as we can see on the screen also right now, the products in energy is like the one which is getting a lot of demand, right? So they make battery management systems and energy management systems, right, and power conversion systems. Do you know anything you want to highlight about what these things are?
Sure. So we discussed about BESS already, right? So we can think of BESS as the hardware behind this, right?
Okay.
And then we need the software as well, right? Which will actually help us to control how this entire battery system works, right? So that is where the energy management system comes into picture. You can think of it as the brain of the entire BESS,
Okay.
right? How much of power to store, how much of power to dissipate, at what point of time, that is controlled by the energy management system. And when it comes to the power conversion system, right, we know that the BESS, it stores the power in DC.
Okay.
But the energy that we are getting is in AC, right? So that conversion, while storage from AC to DC is taken care by this power conversion system or PCS. Again, when we want to give that energy from the BESS to the grids,
Right.
that has again to be converted into AC.
Right.
So that conversion, while dissipating the energy to the grid from DC to AC, also happens through PCS.
Okay.
So this is the entire idea, and PACE Digitech operates across the entire value chain, not just creating BESS, but along with that, they make this EMS as well as the PCS as well.
Okay. Very interesting over here. I mean, this is something very interesting, and also I would like understand that once their projects are done, once they have deployed their project, they are also going to kind of get into the O&M management for a period of 15 years. That gives them a annuity kind of a income. So overall we can see that they're working end to end, right? In the best phase, they're making the softwares that can that can basically understand, that can, that fuels what the best needs to do, right? It's like a kind of best. Then also they also make the hardware, right, for the best box and all. So what is, I mean, anything when you researched about this particular company, right, uh, what is the main area of growth do you see? Like it has two business verticals, telecom and ICT, and the energy sector. Where do you think that their next or their future growth or their order visibility or their revenue visibility is coming in? And if you want to highlight any sort of competitive advantage this particular company has.
Right. So let me first go step by step. Let me first talk about the competitive advantage that Pace Digitech has over its competitors, right? So as you can see from the screen here, right, they are trying to create an integrated infrastructure platform. As we already discussed, they are not just creating best, they are also creating, along with that, supporting softwares as well, right? They are, along with best, they are into PCS and the EMS as well. And they span across not just manufacturing, they have manufacturing, EPC and O&M models as well. So they cover the entire value chain in that respect as
So
well.
it means that it is not easy for anybody to come and very easily replicate what they're doing, because they are working across the value chain. They have both the hardware and the software.
Exactly, that is one thing, and their different kind of business models also helps with respect to that.
Okay.
The next thing is they have an early mover advantage in the best space. Not a lot of companies are today doing what they are doing. So what they do is basically they import the cells and then they stack it into racks and then they stack it into containers.
Okay.
Right? Lot of companies start from procuring the racks and then they stack it up to containers, but they are doing it right from the cells.
What is the advantage someone would get if they're doing it from the cells?
So the main advantage that they will have is definitely it will improve their margins by a lot, right? When you're procuring the cells, it comes at a much lower cost than than the cost that you'll incur while you're procuring racks.
Okay.
Right? And most of this procurement happens from China.
Okay.
So and China puts a 5% tax charge on top of that. So obviously a lower cost material will have that charge less, which
Right.
is in case of cells.
Right. So you mean to say that other people are directly buying the content, the racks, and then they are just assembling it here, whereas Best is buying the cells and then they are doing the assembly. So this helps them generate a higher operating.
Right, correct. So this is how what I was referring to. Most of the companies start from the racks or from the packs, but Pace Reject starting from the cells.
So
That is one point definitely at an advantage, and obviously, as I mentioned, an early mover advantage, right?
Yeah.
And another thing which they are doing is they have started doing backward integration in the manufacturing space as well. So what they are doing is the containers also they are making them, manufacturing them in house. And a lot of other companies they don't do that. They procure the containers also.
Okay.
So that container manufacturing in house is also contributing to their margins, and their management is saying that it will improve their margins by around 1% when they start doing this, right? And definitely, as you were talking about the strong order book, right? They have a very strong order book both in the energy sector as well as in the telecom and ICT sector. I'll go into the details later of what is the how does their order book look like in both these sectors. And definitely, since they are in the industry for so many years, they have built long-standing client relationships, and also they have pan-India execution with respect to all of this, right? And one more point which you asked was, how does their future growth prospects look like? So let me go there, what their management is thinking with respect to growth in the future outlooks. One is first respect to the best growth. So they are expanding their best manufacturing, which is currently at 5 gigawatt hour to 10 gigawatt hour. So basically, they're expanding their manufacturing capacity. And they have supporting order values also
Order
with
book.
order book values as well to support that,
Okay.
right? And they backward integration they are doing, they are integrating the PCS and EMS parts as well along with BESS. And along with that, they have incorporated a new entity called TransGreenX Energy Private Limited, which is going to be asset holding and project development company for the only the renewable projects part.
Okay.
And along with that, they are enhancing their telecom business expansion, and they are participating more in telecom EPCs. And also they are expanding their global presence. They are moving into Saudi Arabia, Kenya, and other African markets as well. So this is what looks very promising with respect to their future growth.
Okay.
And now we can talk about their
Order
how
book.
their order book is varying, right? So let me go here, let me show you how their order books look like. So if you can see here, right, their uh, revenue from operating grew by 13.5% year on year to 644 crores. And then they're currently in their energy sector, the order book stands at around 6,000 crore, and their management says that it is going to become 10,000 crores by March 2026. And with respect to the telecom sector, their order book sits at around 2460 crores already.
So that is almost like an order book of combined order book of around 12,460 crores, right? And very interestingly, I noticed something, and very interesting is that if they have a current order book of 12,460 crores, and their sales, the trailing 12 months sales is around 2,200 crore, which means that their revenue order book visibility, their revenue can grow by 6x, right, over a period of time, obviously when they deliver the order. So that is one of the highest order book to revenue growth visibility probably I've seen in any company in India. So kudos to that. And also, like it's very if you look at Pave Digitech, right, you will see that almost every alternate day they win orders, right? You can see this particular order they won a few days back. Uh, this is from NTPC. They got a letter of award from NTPC Limited, wherein on 31st March, it's not even that old, and that is for a supply of a best storage system EPC order at Nabingar Super Thermal Power Station for a 200 megawatt or 400 megawatt hour deployment of a best solution, right? The contract value itself is around 495 crores, and that itself, and obviously post that they have 15 months operations and maintenance, if for 11 years, right? For 11 years they'll get the operation and maintenance contract. So this is just one of the orders. I saw this from NTPC. If I go a little bit back in time, they won one more order. I think this one, actually this is almost, I think, 2 days or 3 days back. They won this particular the reports best manufacturing milestone, advances energy platform execution. So in October 2025, company operationalized around 2.5 gigawatt hour of capacity of best manufacturing, and they have this Lineage Power Private Limited, which serves as the manufacturing arm of the company's energy platform, anchoring its best product. So this is like the manufacturing arm of the company, and they have scaled up really well. I mean, this company, if you go back and you check more orders, you'll find that almost every week they get a new order, which shows how fast the best market is growing in India. So yes, Suripta. So we spoke about their battery energy storage systems, that they have around 10,000 crores of order book. Can you speak a little bit about the telecom and ICT business vertical?
Right. So basically, their telecom and ICT is one of their businesses, which is helping them to grow. And as we already discussed, they have certain products and certain projects that they're doing in that sector. And with respect to products, they have lithium ion batteries, power systems, and all of that that they manufacture. And one of their main areas where they are growing is their OFC deployment. So OFC is basically optical fiber cable deployment, right? And as you can see here, they it is actually a big massive cash generator for them. And they have in quarter 3 of financial year 2026 alone, they have deployed around 1891 kilometer of optical fiber cable. which is very interesting, right? And not just that, they have an end-to-end control in their telecom business. Like if you can see that, along with the in the OFC business, basically they handle the entire project life cycle, starting from the designing, the supply, the installation and commissioning of the OFCs, right? And their order book value with respect to OFC also looks very promising. And Pay's Digitech's expansion in this area is being fueled by the massive macroeconomic growth as well. So macroeconomic tailwinds as well, right? So yeah, that is it.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about what the, because uh, it's not just about how they have performed and all, but what is the management saying? What is the management guiding in terms of revenue? Because as we can see, as of the last 12 months, their revenue projected is around 2,200 crores. What is the management saying that at what is the revenue value they will be closing FY26, and what are they targeting for FY27, so that our users can get to know a little bit about the revenue runway and how fast they are growing.
Yeah, very interesting question actually. And this is obviously the most important point that the investors would want to know from
Right.
us, right? And as we can see here, the short term projection for their revenue is around 2650 to 2700 crores.
That is at the end
That
of
is
this
at the
year,
end of this year.
FY26.
Exactly. And for the next year, which is FY 2027, what they are projecting is they are projecting a top line revenue of 3200 crores.
Okay.
And along with that, they are saying that the management is anticipating that they will execute approximately 40% of their targeted rupees 10,000 crores. We already talked about that they have
Order
a
book.
order book of 10,000 crores, right? So that is out of that, 40% of that targeted 10,000 crores energy order book, they will be executed in FY 2027 alone.
Okay.
So yeah, this is what they are projecting.
Okay. So this means that if we go to Pace's profit table, we'll see that last year they did around a sale of around 2,400 crores, right? And this year you're saying that they will be doing around 2,700. That is around I mean around a 10 to 15% growth from last year. But the major thing that investors need to look around, that the year afterwards, their CFO have targeted that they'll be doing 3,200 crore. So that would ideally be a growth of around, I mean, from this year, if 2,600, 300, 600 by 2,600, that is around almost more than 20-25% around that rate of growth. And that is something which will also increase their profits, because they're also backward integrated now. They are going to facilitate their new capex lines, so their profit margins will also move in tandem, if not increase in the short term. So we can expect to say that Pace's profit for FY27 will be 25% or 30% higher than what it is projected to be in this year. So that would be around a profit of around, if we increase the 258 crore profit by 20%, that would be around 300 or 300 plus crores. And the current market cap of this particular company is around 3,393, and the current P is around 13.5, which means the P is actually even more down. So the valuation of Pace Digitech is very lucrative. From a peg ratio also, it is very lucrative for the investors. So that is very interesting. Also, I noticed something I wanted to show to all the people is that there is FIIs and DIIs have also kind of taken up stake. And if you go to the DII value, you'll see that Bandhan Small Cap Fund has invested 2.82% into the company, and the promoters have a good holding of around 69-70%. So which means that Pace is doing well. So overall, if we had to kind of if we have to kind of check the other things of Pace, let's quickly check the return ratios, right? The ROC and the ROE values are also very decent, very high in fact. Return on equity means जितना आप लोग पैसा कंपनी में डाल रहे हो, शेयर होल्डर्स इक्विटी, उसमें कितना रिटर्न जनरेट करके दे रहे हो, that is around 31%, which means that if you had put 100 rupees into PAVE Digitech, then at the end of the year you would be getting 131.4 rupees. That is a good return. And the ROCE, the return on capital employed, is around 40%, 41%, which is very high. I mean, very good, because and this indicates that the company has some sort of advantage, some sort of moat built inside, which is helping them generate this return on whatever capital they are employing in the business. There is no promoter pledging, which is always a good thing. The only worry about PF Digitech which I have is that their CFO to EBITDA is around minus 34.6, which means that whatever EBITDA they are generating from the business, they are not able to convert that into cash profit, right? Because, and this generally happens whenever a company, a small company, this is a small cap company, right? Only 3000 crore market cap. Whenever such companies enter growth phases where their revenue is about to multiply, a lot of their money is stuck in working capital, right? So let's investigate if that is the case for Pace. Pace's revenues have grown, their profits have kept on, kept on growing. Like if you see, it was 17 crores at 2023, it rose to 230, now it's around the 230 to 50 range. But the interesting thing to see is that their CFO is not able to convert that profit into cash. That is because, as I said, hypothesized जैसे मैंने किया था कि the cash from operating activity is minus 176 for the last year, which means some amount of money are either stuck in receivables or inventory, and in this case we can see that almost 783 crores is stuck in receivables, which means that they are yet to receive this payment from whatever vendors that they are supplying to. And this is why small companies face lot of working capital issue. जितना उन लोगों का रिसीवेबल्स में पैसा अटक के रहेगा, इन्वेंट्री में पैसा अटक के रहेगा, to fund their daily activities they will have to borrow more money, they will have to dilute their equity to raise capital, they will have to borrow short term loans from banks at higher interest rate, तो इनमें उनका interest cost भी बढ़ जाता है. Let's see if that has happened to Pace. So if we go over here, we can see the borrowings of Pace is around 151 crore, which indicates that borrowings at least उन लोगों का ज़्यादा नहीं है. The borrowings have kept on falling from 494 crore in March 2024 to now around 150 crores. अगर हम लोग थोड़ा डीप डाइव करेंगे, हम लोग देखेंगे they don't have any big long term borrowings, short term borrowings around 134 crores. ठीक है, reserves कंपनी का ग्रो हो रहा है, which means that whatever they are generating, they are above to save some money in their bank. So इनका वजह से उनका जो पर्टिकुलर कैश बैंक में है दैट इज इंक्रीजिंग, तो उनका कंपनी में एटलीस्ट पैसा की कमी नहीं है फ्रॉम अ लॉन्ग टर्म परस्पेक्टिव. हाउएवर the thing I wanted to, which I had hypothesized, right, कि रिसीवेबल में पैसा अटक गया है, we can check that number by checking the debtor days. Debtor days around 276 हो रहा है. What if debtor day का सिंपल एक्सप्लेनेशन है कि नंबर ऑफ दिन में आप लोगों को जिससे पेमेंट रिसीव करना था, जो आपका डेटर था, राइट, वो आपको पेमेंट कब दे रहा है. Over here they are saying that they are getting the payment 276 days later, right, which is not a good thing. ये small company में आप देख रहे हो, their last year debtor days was around 161, this year, like last FY it reached 276. We'll obviously have to look and check if the debtor days have improved in the quarterly results that they will come up. But this is something you will have to see. Whenever you guys are investing in a company, you need to not only look at if the revenue or the profit is growing at a very fast rate, you will also have to look at whether they're able to convert a big chunk of that profit into cash, right, so that their particular financial viability is well and is doing well. तो ये पर्टिकुलर चीज एक चीज होता है. और अगर आप लोग देखोगे ना, आई फील वन ऑफ द मेजर रीजंस व्हाई पेस इतना लो पी में ट्रेड भी हो रहा है इज बिकॉज दे आर नॉट एबल टू कन्वर्ट देयर profits into cash, and also because this year they have not been able to do well so far, right? But projected guidance जो है, which gives us a lot of hope that they will be able to get a lot of orders. उनका 6x revenue order book to revenue visibility is something I have never seen actually, and this is very high. मैंने वबाग में 3x देखा है, 4x देखा है, but like when we analyze this business, this is a sector where the scope of opportunity is immense, right? हमने देखा राइट नाउ वी हैव ओनली 3 to 5 गीगावाट आवर ऑफ कैपेसिटी इंस्टॉल्ड इन बेस, और वो 250 गीगावाट आवर होने वाला है इन द नेक्स्ट 4-5 years. सो यू कैन सी द अपॉर्चुनिटी. सो पेस डिजिटेक इज अ कम्प्लीटली ग्रोथ स्टॉक. उसका वैल्यूएशन मेरे को राइट नाउ इज सजेस्टिंग अ वैल्यूएशन ऑफ 13.5 इज सजेस्टिंग टू मी दैट दैट possibility of the stock to go down further is lower. Their growth prospects are suggesting that we should ideally move up. And उनका CFO to EBITDA is something which happens in small companies with time. जैसा ये कंपनी मैच्योर होगा, डेटर डेज कम हो जाएगा, रिसीवेबल्स अटका नहीं रहेगा, पेमेंट आ जाएगा, and that will directly enter my cash flow statement. Now one more thing before we wrap this up, we'll just go to trading view and we will check PAVE Digitech का टेक्निकल चार्ट गाइस, ठीक है. विल चेक पीएफ डिजिटेक का टेक्निकल चार्ट. सो लेट्स डू दैट. सो आई हैव ओपन पीएफ डिजिटेक ओवर हियर. तो इफ़ यू लुक एट दिस पर्टिकुलर स्टॉक, ये जब से आईपीओ के बाद लिफ्टिंग हुआ है इसका, ये कंटिन्यूसली नीचे जा रहा है, राइट. द प्राइस ऑफ द स्टॉक इज कंटिन्यूसली फॉलिंग एंड इट इज फॉलिंग इन दिस पर्टिकुलर चैनल, एक डाउनवर्ड पैरेलल लाइन काइंड ऑफ अ चैनल. और ये जो लाइन है, दिस इज द सपोर्ट ऑफ दैट चैनल एंड दिस इज द रेजिस्टेंस ऑफ द चैनल, राइट. तो जब भी ये नीचे गिरा है, ये इधर बाउंस किया है, recently इधर बाउंस किया है. and once it had tried at around 10th Feb 2026, this company had tried to break and go above, but obviously उस time पे the market was in a bad state, right. February, March, at this point of time market में बहुत ज़्यादा overselling हुई थी because of the war, because of all of the bear market that is going on. But if you look at the company very currently, you will see that it is starting to move up, right. ये धीरे धीरे द कंपनी स्टार्टिंग टू मूव अप. एंड द नेक्स्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग जो होगा विच विल दैट जो हमें देखना है, दैट इज सिंपली वेदर द कंपनी द स्टॉक इज एबल टू ब्रेक दिस अपर ट्रेंड लाइन. अगर ये ट्रेंड लाइन को प्राइस ब्रेक कर देगा, विच इट फेल्ड ऑन दिस अटेम्प्ट, इस पर ब्रेक कर देगा और इसको सपोर्ट लेके ऊपर बढ़ेगा, देन वी हैव अ ग्रेट पॉसिबिलिटी ऑफ पेफ डिजिटेक मूविंग अप इनटू द अपर into higher prices over a period of time. So that was it guys, जो हम लोगों को बोलना था about PAVE Digitech. सुदीप्ता explained the business model, she explained why BESS is such an important sector. वो BESS क्या है, what is a battery energy storage system, why PAVE Digitech is has a good right to win in this particular business, उनका competitive strengths क्या है. Then I also spoke about the various aspects of PACE's profit and loss statement. We had a discussion about FIIs, DIIs in the company. We had a discussion about PACE का valuations, उनका return ratios. We then discussed that because PACE is a very young company, small cap company, a big amount of their पैसा gets stuck in their receivables, जिसके वजह से उनका debtor days बहुत बढ़ जाता है and they have to often borrow to fund their working capital, right. ये सब चीज़ we had discussed. We finally hypothesized that PACE is a growth stock. Obviously इसमें valuation के तरफ से the company looks to be in a good risk reward scenario, जहाँ से काफ़ी upside दिख सकता है because PEG ratio काफ़ी सस्ता है. Then we also I showed you the technical chart of PAVE Digitech, and we discussed that there might be a possibility that with the bull market coming in and PACE having almost 6x order book to revenue visibility, कि PACE might now start moving up. जो अभी हम लोगों को देखना है कि whether it is able to break the upper trend line with high volume, and that would be that would give us a signal that this stock is now going to rebound. So in terms of a growth story, in terms of the industry in which the best is PACE is working, which is best, there is no doubt that that is a great industry. And आप लोगों को ये particular industry बहुत अच्छे से study करना होगा. Now PACE Digitech is not the only player in the BESS in manufacturing in India. There are other players also. Amara Raja, Exide, they are also kind of setting up manufacturing units to manufacture BESS products. There are some other players also, तो वो भी आप लोग स्टडी करो. Why we covered PACE is because it is a small cap, और small cap में there is the highest possibility of developing into a multi-bagger, right. तो इसीलिए हम लोग इंटरेस्टिंग बिजनेस को स्मॉल कैप्स और माइक्रो कैप्स जो है हम लोग उसी को ही डिस्कस करेंगे इन द नेक्स्ट डीप डाइव. सो दैट्स ऑल फॉर नाउ विद PAVE Digitech and BESS. We will soon be back with another video. So this is a part of the deep dive series. Every week में we will upload one company business analysis, and that should help you understand the business in much more detail. So that is the purpose of the video. So next week we'll be back with something else. And if you guys like the content of this particular channel, if you feel that this added value to you, it helped you understand the business much better, then please do like and subscribe. It takes a lot of effort, right, so to make videos on such topics, educate you guys. बहुत सारा पढ़ना पड़ता है, पहले से कंपनी को एनालाइज करना पड़ता है. सो इफ यू रियली लाइक द कंटेंट, प्लीज डू सब्सक्राइब. दैट इज ऑल, एंड विल बी बैक सून. थैंक यू.